So we've got about 20 minutes of time here with the BYD M6, and here are just about 20 features that we found that you should know about this all-electric MPV. So starting with the 3 things that BYD would like to let you know about your M6 first. First off is of course the BYD signature rotating screen, which if you have been in a BYD and have used Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, you realize that the screen doesn't work with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in portrait mode, only landscape mode. And exclusively to the M6, this is its pièce de résistance, if you will, a mic. Yes, this car has in-car karaoke, which sounds like a gimmick, but actually it's quite fun. Or you could at least entertain your family for about 5 minutes on a long car ride. So now, under the hood, there is space for a frunk, but BYD hasn't supplied one yet, though I think you can find some on Shopee or Lazada. Have a look. Thirdly is this. Yes, BYD has the word space written on the side of the M6, as if this egg-shaped minivan doesn't tell you that it's actually a spacious vehicle. But anyway, space. So, on to the lesser known quirks and features about this BYD M6. And starting with maybe the more uncomfortable one, it has no dead pedal, so you actually just have to rest your left leg on the floor. Now, on to the few quirks and features regarding the BYD's dashboard. And it's actually quite quirky enough that it has analog gauges for its dials in this world of fully digital gauge clusters. And back to more useful things with the BYD M6, if you just turn on your wipers, it does show what wiper setting it is on, which is frankly very useful. Same with indicators. And then also with climate control, you can actually control your climate through the steering wheel controls. So it means that this car does actually have physical climate controls, albeit through the steering wheel. And lastly, for a minivan, it actually has what you see here, a stopwatch for 0 to 100. Why would you want that in a minivan? No idea, but you know, it's good to have, I guess. Okay, so another interesting quirk about the BYD M6 is that it has a rather old school start-stop button, which in this era of electric cars, which you just get in and drive, is quite strange, but blessed be your passengers who will love you when you leave the car as a driver and realize that the aircon is still functioning. Also, with the start-stop button is that once you turn the car off, the opaque sunshade actually whirs itself back to a closed position, which is very nice in this very hot weather. And not something most cars have. I'm looking at you, Volvo EX30. And if you probably heard from the previous takes, you could hear this rather interesting indicator noise, which one of my colleagues says sounds like a Chinese funeral chime. Well, possibly? Now, touching a bit on the BYD and its charging now, the BYD M6 does have smart charging, which means you can schedule your charging. But what it does not have is a charge cap limit. So you can't actually set it to, let's say, charge up to 80% or 90%. It always fully charges to 100%, which might not be all that nice when you're trying to save some money on a public charger. Now finally, here are 2 facts that you probably have to trust me on this, but I do promise they are true. One of them is that the navigation, if you're using Android Auto, comes only from the front driver speaker, which means the rest of the passengers can still hear whatever music is playing. And secondly, when you do receive a call from Bluetooth, the BYD M6 is smart enough to lower the fan speed, so the caller can actually hear what you're talking about instead of just shouting through the tornado. Just to close to on a really mundane fun fact, the BYD M6 doesn't have grab handles for the driver, but it does for both sides of the third row. And there you have it. That's some facts about the BYD M6. Thanks for watching.